Looking at the full part of the glass, just looking at the full part, is quite enough. I know you are dying to find out what's in here. What is this? Is this bourbon? Is this iced tea? Is this a flat earth special? What is this, man? You're dying to find out. This is just a random thoughts video about flat earth and why is flat earth important, and maybe some of you asked, why are you doing this? Let me tell you something. There is nothing in for me in doing this. I do these videos in my spare time. I do these videos with zero interest, with zero dividend. I'm getting nothing out of these videos. They are not that good, I know this. And you might wonder why the flat earth? Why this? Why the flat earth? If you never asked yourself the question, why am I here in this place on this earth, flat or not? If you never asked yourself the question, where did I emerge from? Where did my soul come from? And where is my soul going after death? If you don't have these questions in your mind, if you never had these questions in your mind, I guess flat earth is just stupid. Flat earth is, it may sound like an obsession, or you may say it's a stupid subject. Why is flat earth important? I try to explain this. You live in a world where you're treated like a slave by the system, by the state. They treat you like a slave. Don't get me wrong, you might have a good salary, a good wage, earn good money, but you're still a slave. You're still a slave because there's nothing else to do but to follow some script, to follow some orders from the government, from the state government. This is some good iced tea, you know. This is pretty good iced tea. So you have to follow orders because you wake up in the morning and you don't know what to do. Because your life is so empty, because your mind is so empty and your heart is so empty, then you have to follow orders. It's pretty pathetic for some of us, let's say. You wake up in a world, you learn from your parents, you love your parents, you like what you find, what you experience in the world, and then school comes in, and you're schooled like a fish, like Dave Johnson says. That's exactly true. You're schooled like a fish. That's good, that's not good. Do this, do that. Study this, study that. study the globe. You are given the globe. It's given to you. You have no possibility to refute the globe because you'll be called names by your colleagues, your so-called colleagues, classmates. They see you're stupid. Don't get me wrong. I never questioned the globe in school. I didn't have time for that. I had too much to study, too much homework. So you go to school, which in my country it was like a prison in the 90s. You had a lot to study. You wanted to do good, not to disappoint your parents. And it's been like a prison. You try to do your best. You are that dork, the A dork, trying to get the A's but never getting the A's. That was my case. Only the B's and the C's, but that was pretty good. I studied as best as I could. I was in a high school with theoretical um, theoretical curricula. And then I continued to the university, and then I got my master's degree, and then I got my PhD, and uh, until I got my PhD, I'm boring you with some details. I had a big problem, and I cried to God to help me because I had some problem, some illness. Now after all these years, I do realize it was stress related. It was some type of exhaustion from work. Just chilling, man. Just chilling. Just chilling. And I had a problem. I had some type of. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I had an infection. Not a big one, but I was at the limit. I had no energy, no how do you call that? Uh, Psychic energy. I was uh, exhausted. Uh, I think I had a lot of work in that period, and then I felt very bad due to that infection, and I got scared. I thought that was it, and to wrap this up, to be short, God helped me in that night, in that evening. I cried to God. I literally cried tears because I was in some sort of pain, and you have to choose if you want to believe me or not, if I was hallucinating or not. But something happened, some uh, small uh, drop of light came into me from above the bed, okay, where I was, and it it cooled me. My pain was gone, and I fell asleep, and that was that. And I do believe God heard my cry, and I was repenting. I'm not a religious guy, so if some of you who subscribed to my channel, you thought I was religious, I'm not. I do believe in God, but I don't go to church. I don't um, care too much about Christian holiday. I don't care about dogma. I consider that God has to hear me when I speak to Him. I do believe in God. That was my option. I always believed in God because I'm a Christian officially, and unofficially I'm a Christian free thinker. So I'm not convinced of all the dogma, of course, but I when I pray to God, I just speak to God, as a lot of you maybe do the same. And God heard me, but I was crying, I was yelling. That wasn't just speaking. I wasn't detached when I spoke to God in that hour. I was crying because I needed help, and I guess God helped me. That's what happened. So then I said, I'm wasting my life with all this stuff I have to do, with all this irrelevancy at work, life. Why not gradually try to do things different? Why not do the things my heart was longing for? Because I was always used to lies, to hoaxes. You just cannot close your eyes sometimes because you see lies, you see hoaxes, you see things that don't jive in the news, in the world, in science, so called science. And you have a lot of dreams, you have a lot of questions, you want to learn to understand, but you always hit a wall. You understand? You always hit a wall. Um, there's so much you can learn. In fact, excuse me, excuse me.